Dream basketball presented by Coca-Cola. We're getting things geared up here at the Gateway Center Arena in College Park as Atlanta welcomes in the reigning champs, the Seattle Storm. Hello, everyone. I'm Angel Gray alongside LaChina Robinson. And LaChina, if we're talking about the Dreams play in the last few games, they got things rolling here at home. Then they went on a 4-game win streak. That's including a game that they had in New York, a big win for them, but then they dropped the next two to the Lynx. Now, they finished the road trip 1-2. However, they had some very bright spots on the road. Courtney Williams being one of those bright spots.
Yeah, Courtney Williams has started off this season very strong. She's the only player in the WNBA averaging 18 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. And what makes Courtney's play special is, number one, the way she rebounds the ball from the perimeter, 7 per contest, and then she's hitting the 3 at a very high level efficiently to start the season. And while we're talking about her making shots, none bigger than this shot right here to win the game. Courtney Williams in New York, the big stage and bright lights is where she is at her best. And this shot right here, sealing the win over the New York Liberty.
We love to see Courtney Williams doing Courtney Williams things, one of the brightest spots on this team. However, she's not the only bright spot. With the absence of Kennedy Carter, we've seen how Ari McDonald has stepped up to the plate and said, I am going to seize this opportunity, as well as Cheyenne Parker, who's missed the first 6 games due to health and safety protocol. Well, fans, she's back. What do they do for the Dream?
Well, starting with Ari McDonald, one thing we said about her coming into this season is that when she touches the floor, you feel her impact offensively and defensively just because of her energy and how hard she plays. She started to get comfortable. The game is starting to slow down for her, but it's her ability to get to the free throw line that really separates her. And Cheyenne Parker missed the first 2 weeks of the season because of COVID-19 protocol, but she was a highly sought-after free agent in the offseason because of this, the way she can stretch the floor, her toughness on the interior, her finishing ability, and the way she can offensively rebound the basketball.
It's good to see Cheyenne Parker in the rotation for them, as well as Ari McDonald, who is really coming off of a big game, 15 points for her. But they welcome in the Seattle Storm, 7-2, only lost 1 game in May, and the other one coming in devastating fashion with a big shot from Arike Ogunbowale down the stretch.
Yeah, Arike Ogunbowale with a heartbreaker right here in the waning moments of this one against Seattle. So you better believe this is a Storm team that's coming in a little bit upset about the way that one ended. But when you listen to the players, it wasn't that final shot. It was the way they played down the stretch, having had a lead. And if you're going to win today on the road to start a 5-game road streak, you've got Brianna Stewart, the 2020 Finals MVP, and Jewel Lloyd, who is experiencing career highs in 6 different statistical categories this year.
2 players that you definitely want to keep your eye out on. Well, both teams looking to get back in the win column, and we'll see if the Storm can run with the Dream tonight. Game action coming up next right here on Valley Sports South. Tonight's presentation of Atlanta Dream basketball is brought to you by Coca-Cola. And thank you for joining us for tonight's matchup. The Atlanta Dream welcome in the Seattle Storm. And as far as injury reports, well, Kennedy Carter on that report. She is not available for tonight's game. She went through individual drills at practice, went through shoot around earlier, even though she is not available. Here's what she had to say about her recovery.
I'm feeling good. Really just going day to day. It's a bit of a work in progress because this is kind of the first time I've had anything done to my arm that was kind of a significant injury that kind of hurt it. So I'm just taking it day by day. It's kind of just an elbow sprain and hyperextension. I had a little bit of swelling. Well, I will say a lot, but now I just have a little bit of swelling that's going down. And I think I should be back pretty soon. Sooner than I thought, honestly.
Sooner than later, LaChina Robinson. Those are the words that you like to hear from Kennedy Carter. Missed the last 2 games due to hyperextending her elbow. I'm Angel Gray alongside LaChina Robinson. And LaChina, when you're hearing Kennedy Carter talk about that and even seeing what this team has been like without her, what stands out to you about that?
Yeah, well, you're disappointed because Kennedy Carter obviously missed a good deal of last season with injury. And then in talking to Mike Peterson, he was mentioning she was also injured her senior year at Texas A&M. So you would want her to be playing minutes and gelling with her team, but she is doing well. They're not sure when she will be back, but she is ahead of the game, and hopefully that elbow will heal up.
Yes, we are hoping to hear the news in the coming games. Well, we'll get into tonight's starting lineups, which are presented by the Georgia Lottery. We'll start with the Seattle Storm. Katie Lou Samuelson entered the starting lineup for the Storm. Brianna Stewart, Mercedes Russell, Jewel Lloyd, and Sue Bird, the vets on that starting lineup for Seattle. And for Atlanta Dream, they're shaking things up quite a bit. Cheyenne Parker getting the first start for her in the rotation. Tiffany Hayes, Elizabeth Williams, Odyssey Sims, Courtney Williams. So we're seeing the number 2 offense taking on one of the top defending teams in the league in the Atlanta Dream. And Mike Peterson, the interim head coach for the Atlanta Dream, saying we want to create that beautiful chaos. We've been talking about that from the beginning of the season, and he's wanting to see that alongside with some calm when they have the ball as well. In the previous games, they've been dealing with trying to handle turnovers, so making sure that they can bounce back in that department with taking care of the ball. That's one of the keys for tonight as well. But Seattle coming in, as we mentioned before, in the top of the game, a devastating loss against Dallas, and then a devastating loss for Atlanta, dropped 2 in Minnesota. So both teams hungry for a win tonight. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Angel Gray alongside LaChina Robinson, and the Dream started off first with the ball. Tiffany Hayes at the top of the key. We want to see how Cheyenne Parker continues to move on the floor, getting her involved right off the tip. Elizabeth Williams recovers but cannot convert underneath the rim. Bird, you were asking about all the options that Seattle had for this team, and we were going down the line. Brianna Stewart, as she pulls up from the baseline, and that's one thing you don't want to see at the top of the game is Brianna Stewart getting hot.
Yeah, Elizabeth Williams starting off on Brianna Stewart while Cheyenne Parker was there on Mercedes Russell, and Stewart going right into the post, scoring her first 2.
They'll have different looks for her. Cheyenne Parker, another touch for her. It's her first game actually participating in a Dream uniform here in the new home for the Atlanta Dream, the new Gateway Center Arena.
And right away, Cheyenne Parker getting a touch inside, and she is coming off the best season of her career in Chicago. We mentioned the free agency, and that's what she gives you, is someone who can score in the low block.
And that foul is going to go against Brianna Stewart. That is going to be her first. You're seeing Noelle Quinn, congrats are in order, as she has been elevated to head coach after Dan Hughes retired, relieved May 30th. She's a champ and in the WNBA, as well as a player, as a coach, the only player to do so. So many things that we can say about her career.
Right away, you see how aggressive Seattle is on ball screen action. They're sending 2 to the ball, but good patience and rotation from the Dream. Tiffany Hayes shooting the 3 at a high percentage to start the season.
And you can see the balance, too, that Coach Peterson was telling us earlier today on the Zoom call, just what Cheyenne Parker does, and getting early touches, but also making it balanced and hitting the outside shot as well. So the bucket underneath for Katie Lou Samuelson does not go right at the rim, wishing she could get that one back. Cheyenne Parker letting it go from outside. That one doesn't go. She did have a few drop for her in the previous game where she had 12 points. Mercedes Russell grazes the front iron.
And you'll give Mercedes Russell that jump shot and force her to hit that consistently.
And it's all about dictating the pace at this point. Courtney Williams once again trying to find Parker.
Just really good ball movement here. Elizabeth Williams gets it. It touches the paint to Sims, and then the extra pass to Courtney Williams to Tiffany Hayes. And I mentioned, you know, Hayes shooting that career best 47% from long range. That is when she's dangerous, and that's when the Dream is dangerous, when they can hit from the outside, which opens up driving lanes for this quick and speedy team off the bounce.
That previous foul went against Katie Lou Samuelson. That is her first, team second. Cheyenne Parker lines it up once again. This time it hits the back iron. But Odyssey Sims recovers, and Courtney Williams tries to look at it, but that one doesn't fall for her. Struggling from the field right now for the Atlanta Dream. 1 for 7 from the field, shooting 14%.
And you notice Seattle's kind of packing it in on the Dream as Katie Lou Samuelson hits that jump shot. Sorry about that headshot, Katie Lou, in the beginning. Didn't look like it.
I was wondering, she's changed up quite a bit.
A little bit, but
a lot changes when you come back from overseas and, you know, qualify for the 3-on-3 trials.
Clearly.
Courtney Williams, once again, for the mid-range, continues to struggle from that area. Cheyenne Parker misses everything. If you're the Dream, they're just trying to settle everything down. But let's get into the keys of the game, which are presented by Scannet Energy. And Mike Peterson was telling us earlier that it's very important for them. We mentioned it, limiting the turnovers. Then also, transition defense is important for both sides, honestly. Jewel Lloyd knocks the outside shot down. So Tiffany Hayes, we talked about her re-entering into the lineup. Didn't take much time for her to get reacclimated in the rotation. And she's just that energy bunny, finding ways to get involved on the defensive end, as we saw there, as it's Dream ball on this end, but also shooting on the inside, knocked down a 3 earlier. She's the heartbeat of this team.
Yeah, I mean, Tiffany Hayes is a player that's been an all-star in this league. She has, again, had much more playoff experience than some of her teammates, and you know, coming back after winning a championship in Spain, she's just looked really good. Turned over the ball a little bit in the last 2 games, but she's really looking like she's ready for the season.
4 on the shot clock. Tiffany Hayes is going to have to launch it. She does from the logo. I wouldn't be surprised that it went in with all the buzzer beaters that we've seen in this season so far from the W. Samuelson curling to the basket. Nice dish underneath to Mercedes Russell, and that's going to count and 1.
Yeah, we were talking to Mike Peterson today about the challenges in a bigger lineup, and Katie Lou Samuelson has a side advantage over a player like Odyssey Sims, so she's able to just catch the ball high and on the help. Good extra pass, but when they've played teams like a Connecticut that has DeWanna Bonner or Samuelson, those teams with a big 3 lineup have been a challenge for a small Atlanta Dream backcourt.
Yeah, Mercedes Russell, 6'6", out of Tennessee. Only shoots 67% from the free throw, as you can see there, but it's just as far as this team, that's something that they're going to have to adjust to with the size, but they said they're going to have to also keep up with us in our speed and seeing if they can dictate that. But another possible turnover for the Atlanta Dream, just a miscommunication there. And even going back to the previous games, coach was saying, we hurt ourselves. Those turnovers that we had were self-inflicted. And he said, those are the things that we have to clean up, seeing if they can fine-tune some things here in the first quarter. Cross-court pass by Stewart. Jewel Lloyd draws the foul on Tiffany Hayes. And she says that's going to be a 2 and not a 3 in the corner.
You do not want to foul the jump shooter here, and Hayes with her hands in bad position. I mean, unless you have got your hands squarely on the basketball, she could go up with that at any moment, and that's exactly what Jewel Lloyd did.
We already mentioned how Kobe Bryant called her the Gold Mamba for a great reason. She's hit game winners, has 2 on her belt for this season, and was also just named the Player of the Week for the West. Jonquel Jones was named the Player of the Week for the East, and she's been putting together and stringing together great games for herself in this stretch.
Yeah, she looks really good this season. I mentioned at the top of the show, she's experiencing career highs in 6 different categories. Just looks more comfortable in the flow of the game, and this is an extension of what we saw from her last season, just coming into her own as the years go on in the league.
Looking poised, but Courtney Williams responds. You like to see that one fall down, and that also stops a 9-2 Seattle run. Atlanta likes to see the ball go down the hoop, but they don't like to see that. Stewart getting hot from the outside.
Atlanta has got to communicate a little better in transition, because you don't want to leave Breanna Stewart open beyond the arc.
She's perfect from the field, 4 points, 2 rebounds already. Courtney Williams, nice dish on the inside to Williams.
Seattle's pick and roll coverage just broke down there. Elizabeth Williams is so quick at getting to the rim in that ball screen action. Someone's got to be there.
Talked about the connection there, but another connection from deep for Katie Lou Samuelson. And they're perfect from the outside, 2 for 2. The other one going to Breanna Stewart, just a play ago. Courtney Williams can't connect there, but those are the extra plays that you want to see Tiffany Hayes creating some extra opportunities for the Dream. Taking Samuelson head on, draws the foul, will step up to the free throw line for 2. So we will take a break here before Courtney Williams steps to the free throw line to take 2 right now. Seattle Storm rolling 17-9 advantage over the Dream. A couple of fans in the arena, the new Gateway Center Arena, the new home for the Atlanta Dream, partying like a rock star. Wish you could be over there with them partying just a bit, but we'll have to wait till after the game. It's nice to see fans in the stands. But Tiffany Hayes stepping up for 2 right before the break. She got fouled by Katie Lou Samuelson on a drive. She can't connect to the first one.
And you notice that both teams are trying to take advantage of that size of Katie Lou Samuelson. Dream trying to drive at the 3 spot when she's guarding, and on the other side, they're sitting on her on the interior to a small Dream defender.
Courtney knocks down the second one. That's the first trip to the free throw line for the Atlanta Dream, as Lloyd was left alone from the outside. Can't make him pay, though. Tiana Hawkins comes down with the rebound, and Odyssey Sims surveys the floor. Looking to get all the way to the basket, rolls around, and finally drops.
Really nice take by Odyssey Sims. She was scoreless in her last game on the trip back to Minnesota, her old team, but she is distributing the ball well, and that's just as important. 13 assists over the last 3 games.
Well, players to watch presented by Kindness Medical Technologies. Here we have Tiana Hawkins.
Yeah, Tiana Hawkins had started every game of the season up until today. She's struggling in her shooting, but we'll see if coming off of the bench helps her a little bit to get into a rhythm offensively.
She just picked up the foul against Dupree going baseline. She creates a stop there. And once again, the Dream looking to go full speed. Courtney Williams, there's not much you can do about that.
There's a high level of difficulty on that shot, but the elevation and that high release by Courtney Williams, she's able to nail it.
Then has a tough matchup with Drew Lloyd on the other side.
Dream bringing some pressure. We have seen them pressure a little bit. They'll play a 1-3-1 and trap some out of that. They like to change up their defenses and keep you off balance.
Right idea, just didn't execute it well. Monique Billings trying to curl to the basket, but Seattle will give the ball right back as Talbot travels.
Yeah, Seattle's going to challenge Atlanta to make good decisions. At least their guards out of ball screen action. They're going to try to cover them up so they can't see the roller and force them to really be patient in decision making in those situations.
Seattle with a 3-point lead. A little under 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Another travel called, and Ari McDonald checks in for the Atlanta Dream as well. Billings will actually have that foul called on her. Lloyd looking to see how she can free up some space. She does, and she gets the 2.
Yeah, good 2-man game action between Stewart and Lloyd. Got a lot of tough decisions to make when those two are on the same side of the floor.
It's difficult. They can both stretch the floor. We've also have another turnover on this side. Someone also lost a shoe. Jordan Canada.
And this is what you don't want to see if you're Mike Peterson. You go to your bench, you put in Ari, Tiana, Bradford, Monique Billings. You need this group to come in and really pick up the energy out on the floor, and that's a couple of turnovers you can't afford.
And that's something you're hoping to see even from the rookie. Ari McDonald, he said she's always ready, but that one right there, Jewel Lloyd, everyone has to stay ready together. Those are one of those assignments where it's not just one player defending her. Lloyd trying to deny Courtney Williams. She rises up and
another toughie.
Another one.
Stewart was there. I mean, at least from my angle. And she's got at least a 6'6", 6'7" wingspan.
Courtney Williams is just fearless. She's trying to talk with Monique Billings as well on the defensive end, creating some space.
I mean, on the switch, it looks like Stewart got a hand right there, but once Courtney Williams gets eyes locked on the rim, forget about it.
Stewart from the outside just makes it look so easy, and that's something you don't want to see from the coaching staff from the Dream. Ari McDonald all the way to the rim for the and one.
Now, I want to see these two in a foot race because Jordan Canada has got to be, if not the fastest, one of the fastest players in this league. And then Ari McDonald is fast on fast. So this was just a straight-out track meet. And honestly, Canada just lost her footing there. But Ari McDonald getting to the free throw line once again. Mentioned this in the open, but that's something that really stands out to me about the way she has played, especially coming off of that 15-point performance in Minnesota where she went to the line 6 times and nailed all 6 free throws.
During that road trip, she also got the nickname Ari Hash Brown McDonald as well. Tiffany Hayes, key term that, so welcome.
Okay,
Hash Brown McDonald, we like it.
Speaking of hash browns and McDonald's, Jewel Lloyd cooking it up right now on Courtney Williams.
Showing everyone why she deserves to be that player of the week. Crystal Bradford all the way to the rim, and that's one of those X factors for the Dream. You mentioned the energy. She's starting to bring it.
Yeah, high level of difficulty on some of the shots by the Dream right now between what Bradford just did and the shots we've seen by Courtney Williams.
Lloyd still has the defensive assignment from Williams, but she is getting going, making everything look so simple from both levels.
Going under the screen, going, chasing over, no matter what. Right now, nothing stopping Jewel Lloyd.
Hawkins hesitated to take the shot. Williams gets the ball back. Nice bounce pass to Monique Billings.
And we've seen that a couple times where Storm defense on that roller, they're putting a lot of stock in being able to disrupt the point of attack.
Third assist from Courtney Williams. That goes to Monique Billings, who's finally on the board. 7 on the shot clock. Still winding down. 4, and the Atlanta Dream come up with it. She'll have to heave it. She does from half court. And doesn't get that one to go, but what an entertaining first quarter. It's been going back and forth. 5-point lead for Atlanta.
Little 2-man game here on the handoff. Courtney Williams loses her defender, but the give and go with Monique Billings.
Welcome back to Gateway Center Arena. Well, the first quarter is under the belt, so we might as well look at some first quarter stats, which are presented by State Farm. And here's what we're looking at right now. The biggest difference at this point is the rebounds. For Seattle, 5-14, and then points in the paint for the Atlanta Dream as well. So they're taking care of points in the paint, but anything else that stands out to you?
Yeah, I mean, Jewel Lloyd. You got to find a way to cool her down. 13 points in that first quarter. So Dream's going to have to change some of their screens there. But for the Dream, I thought that they really got some tough buckets where they needed them and started to execute a little bit better with this second unit in the game.
As Talbot misses the outside shot, Tiana Hawkins hawks it down. And to your point, LaChina, after the Dream started 1-9, now they're on a 9, well, hitting 9 of their last 11 shots. And to your point, just executing and understanding what they need to do. Courtney Williams has been a big part of that. Nice dish on the inside to Hawkins, but that's blocked underneath. So Epiphany Prince starts the second quarter for Seattle. Dupree in some trouble at the top of the key, but that matchup with Ari McDonald in the paint, she recognizes it right away, but
and now she's on Ezzy. That switch didn't help her much.
And either way, Dupree gets the bucket. Dupree over 2,700 points in her career. 3 double-figure scoring games this season. All 15 seasons, she's averaged double figures as Ari McDonald can't connect from the outside. But this is a veteran group entering tonight's matchup as Sue Bird is coming off the screen looking for some help on the inside. Finds her veteran mate Dupree on the outside.
The long 2 from Dupree. 2 feet on the three-point line.
Trying to give her 1 point. That's not going to work out too well. Well, there's a timeout on the floor for Atlanta, and so we'll take a break. They'll try and figure out how to fine-tune some things defensively. Welcome back. Well, the Seattle Storm have a 32-23 lead over the Atlanta Dream. That timeout was to see if they could fine-tune some things on the defensive side. They scored a few buckets that led to that. Tiffany Hayes right away attacking the baseline. Shan Parker finds Sims. High arcing three, no good, but Elizabeth Williams creates an opportunity for Cheyenne Parker that doesn't get it to go on the left.
Parker's had a rough start, but Elizabeth Williams with 6 rebounds already with only 12 minutes off of the clock in this game.
In the paint, fumbling the ball on the inside, and Courtney Williams.
Courtney Williams is fighting. She doesn't have a size advantage there, but showing some physicality.
Going against the 6'4" Ezzie McGregor. But you like to see that. Of course, she's a fearless defender. She's going to take on any challenge, but Tiffany Hayes holding that left knee. Some contact there, hoping that she can rub that off. As Sue Bird is even checking on her as well.
Oh, yeah, she might have bumped knees with Candace Dupree. That hurts.
That foul also goes against Candace Dupree.
Coming off of that screen right there. Her left knee and Candace Dupree's left knee. It's bone on bone.
A trap on the baseline, trying to see if they can get the ball out of Courtney Williams' hands. A lot of teams are looking to do that. 6 on the shot clock, 4. And Seattle bailed the Dream out with that one, as that is going to be reset.
Not the greatest pass, but a good read. And most coaches will say don't leave your feet to pass it, but Courtney Williams has had to, as Seattle's putting some length on her on the perimeter. But the Dream has 14 points in the paint to Seattle's 3, so they've been able to get into the lane for some high percentage looks.
Pump fake by Tiffany Hayes, and the cleanup crew coming in by Williams.
Elizabeth Williams high for rebounds and a half is 7. She's tied that, but where's the defense here?
And that's what led to that previous timeout for the Dream, just trying to see if they could stop the bleeding in a sense from Seattle, just finding ways to score. And then another turnover created at the end of the key. You said nice pass, but it's just the execution for the Dream right now that are gambling on the offensive end. No call, like a lot of contact underneath, but Courtney Williams keeps the show moving. Trying to direct traffic. See if she can get Williams the ball on the block against Talbot. The double team approaches. Cheyenne Parker looks around, doesn't get that one to go, but Odyssey Sims says, I got your back.
Yeah, Parker 0 for 6 now. You can see her getting a little frustrated, but she's very capable of making those shots. And in fact, in a very small sample size, she comes into this game having shot 50% from the field and three-point line in her first 2 games of the season, just off to a slow start in her first start in an Atlanta Dream uniform.
Well, you asked for defense from the Dream, LaChina, and you're starting to see a little bit of that pressure. They have full court with Odyssey Sims and Courtney Williams. That previous play, Odyssey Sims with the pressure as well on Sue Bird, not allowing her to get the ball in. Prince at the top of the key. You can see the blitz.
Pressure.
But with the pressure comes options for Seattle.
Yeah, when you have a team that passes so well like Seattle does, the way they move the ball, 22 assists per game. It's a high-risk, high-reward defense. Tiffany Hayes, though, getting an easy one with a strong lefty.
8 points for Tiffany Hayes, 3 for 5 from the field. And now it's about stopping Seattle from the outside before that shot. They went 71% from the 3. They're shooting 62% from the field. Nice bounce pass once again by Courtney Williams. We know that she can score. We know she can defend, but she can facilitate as well.
And an impressive showing in this first half by Elizabeth Williams.
And that performance will get a timeout for Seattle. Epiphany Prince on the side. Well, the Dream starting to piece things together. Courtney Williams getting everyone involved. Welcome back. Well, the Dream pull this one within 6, but let's talk about merchandise. Order the latest Atlanta Dream merchandise today. We have jerseys, t-shirts, hats, and more. Visit atlantadream.net to link to the official Dream store. We are so lucky that the leadership and the owners, including Renee Montgomery, giving us some nice jerseys. So I may have to see if I can get some more jerseys. LaChina, you look pretty nice in yours. That was nice.
Thank you. It was nice. Great gesture by the ownership group of the Atlanta Dream, and right out out of the timeout. The Dream came out in a zone, and then Cheyenne Parker comes down and hits the shot.
So she is on the board after starting 0 for 6.
And now the Dream back in their man-to-man. Great steal by Tiffany Hayes.
So they've hit the last 6 of their 8 shots and are currently on an 8-0 run. And so we know this is all about runs, but the difference for Atlanta to this point seems like it's been happening on the defensive end. They answer on the different pieces and scoring options for Seattle. And maybe I jinxed them in that sense because Katie Lou rolls straight to the basket, but they've done a much better job with piecing things together in their communication defensively. Tiffany Hayes all the way on the baseline doesn't get that one to go, but Atlanta will get the ball underneath. Mercedes Russell at the table to check in.
And that cut to the basket by Katie Lou Samuelson is something that Mike Peterson was concerned about, you know, because he said, listen, they are one of the best cutting teams and slashing teams in this league.
Courtney Williams dish to Williams, and we've been saying that over and over again, that connection between the Williams has been pretty impressive. Samuelson bounces around every part of the iron, but doesn't get it to go. A lot of fight by Cheyenne Parker.
Good scrappy defense there by the Dream.
Seemed like that was going to be an easy one for Russell to come up with. Instead, Cheyenne Parker gets it, and a lot of chaos at the top of the key from that trap, so Courtney Williams calls the timeout.
Really good read before the trap gets there. Courtney Williams gets it out quickly, and as many times as Courtney Williams has drawn 2 defenders, she only has 2 turnovers in this game. So I'm impressed with how she's handled some of the blitz action and the trapping from Seattle early in this one.
6.5 assists, 2 rebounds, but defensively, here is Tiffany Hayes getting it done the best way she knows how.
Yeah, you already know Atlanta #1 in the WNBA in steals with 10 a game, and Tiffany Hayes is quick as they come, reading the defense, shooting the gap, and once she gets off and running, it's hard to catch her.
The only player for the Dream in double figures, Tiffany Hayes with 10, 1 assist, 2 rebounds as well. Does have 2 personal fouls at this point, but Tiffany Hayes is the heartbeat of this team, and just with her presence on the floor since she got back from overseas play and sitting out as well, you can see automatically the impact that she makes on both ends of the floor. Defensively, it's a big thing for this team as well, and you hear a lot of times that the team takes on the identity of its star players, right? And with Tiffany Hayes, scrappy, fearless, you can see how that even Courtney Williams alongside her and that duo and what they look like as well.
Yeah, that's the identity of this Dream team. I mean, it's what we've seen from Tiffany Hayes over the years, the scrappiness, the explosiveness off of the bounce, really keeping the defense of the other team on their heels with how they can get up and down the floor. But Tiffany has 4 games of 20 or more points this season and has really come in my opinion, and shown a ton of leadership. I mean, I haven't heard her voice all the way from up here. She usually is very quiet, but you can just tell she's playing like this is her team, and she knows that she's got to set the tone.
We also talked about the turnovers. That was one of the keys to the game as well, where in the first quarter they had 4 turnovers, only 1 in the second quarter, so I don't want to jinx anything there, but that's very important.
Very important, Angel, absolutely, especially as you mentioned early, the way both of these teams can get out and run. And now Seattle coming out of the zone defense.
Odyssey Sims shot no good, but Elizabeth Williams, who already has 8 rebounds on the game, can't get that one, but has been everywhere on the floor. And that stopped the bleeding a bit for Seattle. They only had 2 field goals in the last 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, transition defense communication was not what it needed to be there for the Dream. They were a little late getting matched up and IDing players.
You can see Elizabeth Williams too. After a made bucket by them, they're communicating, saying get back, and pointing out who needs to guard who. 3 on the shot clock. Tiffany Hayes heaves it once again. That one doesn't go. Katie Lou Samuelson comes down with the rebound, and Sue Bird cross court to Lloyd. They've gone a little cold from outside. 6 for 11, 54% from the three-point line, while earlier in the game they were shooting a scorching 71% from distance. Two-man game, Cheyenne Parker, beautiful crossover by Hayes for the bucket.
Defense was there, but it didn't matter. Hayes splits both defenders.
Sims rewarding Hayes again with the three. And she's doing the airplane all the way back because she's just that fly. That bucket, 42 all for the Dream in Seattle game after a really rough start for the Dream out of the gate.
Love this matchup with Elizabeth Williams on Breanna Stewart.
Quick turnaround, nothing there. As we approach the 90-second mark in the first half, Courtney Williams seeing if she can get things going against Samuelson. The slip by Elizabeth Williams, cross court to Tiffany Hayes, underneath once again to Cheyenne Parker, working around, but Breanna Stewart says not in our paint.
Boy, the three-point shot is really the difference in this game. 7 for Seattle, 2 for Atlanta, and many of Seattle's threes have come in transition.
That's the second three for Samuelson, 10 points. She joins Jewel Lloyd in double figures for Seattle. Less than a minute here, Elizabeth Williams, and that's fully denied, but that's going to be called a jump ball. Breanna Stewart met her in the air at the rim.
Some incredible defense by Breanna Stewart at the rim. 2 possessions in a row, just using that wingspan. I said 6'7", 6'6", but Stewie may have a 6'9", 6'10" wingspan, the way she's been deflecting and blocking shots.
I mean, well, it only rivals with LeBron James as well, so that's something that you're looking at with that wingspan. Not many players can get the ball over her in the paint, but this time it comes up with the jump ball.
Yeah, she's contested really well.
So 5 on the shot clock for the Dream, 49 on the game clock. And Odyssey Sims gets it, heaves it, 3 on the shot clock, nothing there, and that's going to be a foul that's going against Monique Billings. They were both going after the ball, and a little bit of a collision with Jordan Canada.
Old teammates, right? Canada and Billings, those UCLA buds.
A couple of connections out there from Australia as well. So as they try and get things hashed out on who the foul is going against, Seattle will take the ball out on the side and now call a timeout for Jordan Canada. So less than a minute left in this game. Seattle with a 3-point lead after that big bucket by Samuelson, but it's been going back and forth in a sense for Atlanta, trying to chip away, trying to fine-tune some things, but taking care of the ball definitely helps. And their balanced attack is something that's also standing out.
And if the stats I'm reading are correct, Atlanta has a +13 advantage on the glass. So the second effort by the Dream, they've got 9 offensive rebounds, which has led to 10 points. They also have 7 fast break points, and I'm pretty sure it's Seattle that is the team that is leading the WNBA in fast break points according to her hoop stats. So that is something that's standing out about the Dream's play as well.
They have the 3rd best pace in the league for the Atlanta Dream, and they just try to push everything, the energy. That's something they're known for, and understanding how they can find points off of turnovers. We've seen how they are #1 in the league for that, but then also just playing together defensively. That's how they've been able to collect a few points as well, and the communication has been there, as you alluded to. You've seen Elizabeth Williams even shining and blossoming in that role, using her voice a bit more over the years. You're seeing her take on that leadership role more and more on the defensive end. Usually she's known for being the defensive player, especially at Duke, of course. That's what she's known for, but now not being as quiet as she once was when she entered the league and taking on the reins in that leadership department.
Yeah, she's really found her voice and being a member of WNBA Players Association's Executive Council and has started to really find her voice. And I'm just kidding. Her hoop stats may not have told me that about the fast break points of Seattle. But either way, I'll let you know in the second half who told me that, if it wasn't them.
We know you guys, Regina. We know it. We know it. All right, so pressure on the outside. Tiffany Hayes close to running through that one. Lloyd rises up. Hits the corner of the rim, and that's going to be a foul that goes against Samuelson, as Odyssey Sims is slowly getting off of the floor. So that's the third foul on Samuelson. A 7-second differential with game clock and shot clock. So they'll see if they can run this one down just quite a bit. Tiffany Hayes. That 1-2 step, I mean, not many people can rival it. The Euro step that Hayes has, he takes advantage of it and gets 2 at the free throw line.
Her strides are so long when she just takes off. You know, she does a nice job of staying pretty low to the ground, but she just knows how to get that top foot right, that stride right past your top foot, and the defender can't do much then.
We talked about how she's inserted herself with this team after missing pretty much 2 seasons with Atlanta. Opted out last year for social justice initiatives and missed out on playing in the Wubble. A lot of new faces for the Dream as well that she had to get acclimated with, but it doesn't seem like it took her very long, especially with the leadership that she brings.
Nice job of Atlanta just being disruptive, trying not to allow Seattle to take any momentum into the locker room here on this final possession.
9 seconds left in the first half. Stewart. Billings seeing if she can keep her out of the paint. And she does. The last second heave, I don't think Courtney Williams is going to go for it. A lot of bodies around her. And Atlanta finished the half on a 16-8 run over the last 6 minutes. And that's what you want to see from your squad. Just understanding what they need to do. They do have the 2-point deficit against Seattle, but they've been very impressive about what they've been able to do. And we'll have an assistant coach with us in just a few seconds. And I think she is ready with us, Coach Dania LaForce. So can you hear us a bit? Can you hear us? I know she's tapping to her headset. I'm not sure if she can hear us.
Can you hear us, Coach LaForce?
Can you hear us? Give us a thumbs up, Coach, if you can hear us. We're in a different time where we're trying to, move through everything for protocols. We're at the top of the stands and seeing if they can get things worked on, and still working on if she can hear us. And right now they're giving us the, oh, we can't hear you sign. So I think we'll just go to break here. We'll have to wait on that top-notch commentary for another time. So we'll go to a commercial, but Tiffany Hayes has been absolutely outstanding. 16 points, 2 rebounds in the first half, looking to keep this Dream team trending in the right direction. Welcome back to Gateway Center Arena, the new home for the Atlanta Dream. You see the fans that have their mask on and enjoying the game. So far, Atlanta Dream down 2 at half, but it has been a very entertaining one, and here's a few reasons why. Well, Brianna Stewart out the gate, just getting things going. And Seattle was on a tear offensively to start.
Yeah, the advantage for Seattle is the three-point shooting. They've got 7 threes. Atlanta's got 2, and they did a nice job of moving the ball against some of Atlanta's pressure. But where Atlanta has excelled is they've gotten more opportunities to shoot the ball because of their rebounding. They're plus 12 on the glass. They've got 11 more shots than Seattle, so even though they are not shooting it as well from the field and don't have as many threes, they've done a good job of finding the roller. Courtney Williams has moved the ball out of pressure. They've only turned the ball over 5 times. Seattle hasn't turned it over either, but it's just the rebounding factor that's been the difference maker.
And especially with Atlanta, you're seeing how the size, that hasn't really phased them. We saw at the beginning as there's a foul at the top of the key. That's going to go against Jewel Lloyd. That's her first personal foul. But just as far as Atlanta, they're averaging a little over 11 offensive rebounds. Well, they're first in the league. They had 9 in the first half. You want to see how they can continue to do that. But to your point, LaChina, they've been getting things done in the paint, going and challenging the size of Seattle. A little bit of over dribbling by Williams. Sue Bird, stop and pop, doesn't go. Courtney Williams with the rebound. And for Sue Bird, it's been a slow night, 6 points for her, but she is perfect from the field in her 17 minutes. And the dig in by Sue Bird, with Cheyenne Parker gets the steal there.
And right away, you can see Seattle's aggressive on the dribble. Every time Atlanta put the ball in the deck, the last couple possessions, they've gotten a steal. Speaking of.
Well, we said run with the dream for a reason. In the passing lane, Odyssey Sims. But how quick can this team really be? I know that they're still piecing things together. You mentioned how Kennedy Carter is still out with the hyperextended elbow, but that makes your team even faster. She gets back into the rotation. Russell underneath. Beautiful finish from the other side.
Really nice move for Mercedes Russell, who for the most part, after arriving late, has had a solid season.
4 points for Russell. Mid-range shot by Williams, no good. Sue Bird, a little bit of the hesitation, but the reach past Parker finishes for the nice bucket off the glass.
Young Sue Bird still got it. 6 assists for Sue.
I think the second game of the season, she had 0 points as Cheyenne Parker finishes with a beautiful spin move on the inside. But for Sue Bird, after that game, everyone was questioning, oh, Sue Bird, struggling quite a bit.
Can we talk about Odyssey Sims' defense from the end of that first half and to start this third quarter? Active hands.
Well, I don't mind if we do. The defensive side has been very impressive. Odyssey everywhere. The communication there as well. And you can see her with the matchup now. Samuelson. Under 10 on the shot clock.
Really nice job there by Elizabeth Williams. Only 8 points for Breanna Stewart in the first half.
That one hits the back iron. Right away, the leak out by Odyssey Sims, challenging Breanna Stewart, and gets that one to fall, getting it done on both ends of the floor. 8 points for Odyssey Sims, 4 for 8 from the field. 4 assists, 4 steals to add to that as well. We saw a couple of them racked up in the second half to start.
Gotta love this energy from the Dream out of the locker room to start this third quarter. Odyssey's defense, Elizabeth Williams picking up where she left off defensively and on the glass.
I really have a feeling that the assistant coach, Daniel LaForce, was going to say the same thing. We need that energy right out of the gate. I'm pretty sure she would have said that, but Sue Bird lines it up from the outside. So now she's in double figures just like that with 11 points.
You let Sue Bird get lined up behind the three. She doesn't miss many of those.
Courtney Williams tries it again, a little higher arch, doesn't get it to go. Stewart finding Samuelson in the corner. Williams doesn't go for the pump fake, and a lot of contact on the inside. Cheyenne Parker, it seemed like she was inside the circle, and so the block call is going to go against her.
But the restricted area should not have been at play because this was caught in the lower defensive box, but I thought Breanna Stewart lowered the shoulder.
So that's Cheyenne Parker's third personal foul, so Monique Billings will come in to relieve Parker. After that foul, she's still trying to get an explanation on the outside. So Seattle holding on to a 1-point lead underneath Russell, she's creating some magic underneath for the Seattle Storm.
Yeah, she's hit a couple of nifty shots. You got to think with Jewel Lloyd, Sue Bird, and Brianna Stewart on the floor, she's going to be open for some opportunities as the defense is focused on stopping the big three.
The roll by Williams. Nothing there. Odyssey Sims, that one almost hit the roof, doesn't get that one to go. Sue Bird pushing the pace. Atlanta Dream doing a good job in transition defense as well. Beautiful cut pass, as you mentioned before, for the and one for Samuelson. That's going to go against Courtney Williams. That's her first personal foul, but you mentioned earlier in the game how Seattle is just so nifty with finding ways to get the ball in these.
On that slip. You know, you think she might be going to set a screen. You're not sure. But the quick just beeline to the basket, and they're going to say that foul was on the floor. I'd agree with that one.
So that's good news for Courtney Williams as well, but another foul underneath is going to go against Samuelson. You're thinking, especially with the frustration from Courtney Williams, that they're trying to take advantage of that matchup with her on the inside. So we know that Courtney Williams can defend the best of them, but looking for an explanation on the inside right away. Atlanta switching puts Williams on Sue Bird, 5 on the shot clock. Russell once again going up for the ball, and that's going to count.
Yeah, Seattle right now taking advantage of Atlanta switching, and they need a 3-player switch and not 2, because it doesn't help if Courtney Williams gets back to her assignment, and her assignment is Mercedes Russell with the size advantage, but Monique Billings gets there just out of position and fouls Russell. Really didn't need to there.
6'6" frame just really kept it pretty high, and 8 points for her on the 9 points for her after that free throw. Her first trip to the free throw line. 4 for 5 from the field. She's been pretty efficient. We've seen how she's had some nifty finishes underneath as well. 7 on the shot clock. The cut by Hayes. Sue Bird meets her, but Tiffany Hayes with a nice touch off the glass.
Hayes showing us the arsenal tonight. The slice through the lane, gets to the left side, strong side, using the glass.
So that layup cuts the lead by Seattle to 4, short by Samuelson underneath. Sims backs it out just a bit to see if she can go one-on-one, liking the isolation at the top of the key, but once again, the length of Seattle coming into play. Brianna Stewart all the way to the rim. Doesn't get that one to go, but does draw the foul on the approach.
Really, really nice defensive play on the other end by Samuelson. Gives Seattle off and running.
We see Odyssey Sims looking at the matchup, seeing if she could beat her on the foot race, but a nice block by Samuelson that leads to Brianna Stewart being able to step to the free throw line. Well, Tiffany Hayes still filling it in the second half right here, getting it done off the cut from the pass from Courtney Williams. Good block. Tonight's presentation of Atlanta Dream Basketball is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Well, Seattle has the 4-point lead over the Dream right now with about 4:23 left in the third quarter. Seattle shot 5 for 9 from the field in the third quarter. Atlanta 5 for 10. Right now, they're just trying to see if they can get that separation. Obviously, Atlanta Dream trying to work their way back into this one, but it seems like Seattle is trying to use their height advantage on the inside to get the separation from the Dream in the third quarter.
Yeah, they have definitely gotten some good buckets for Mercedes Russell as you are scrambling, trying to cover all the other offense for Seattle, and Katie Lou using her size defensively to smother some shots and cover up some shots. But the Dream hanging in there. I mean, again, the three-point line has not been kind to the Dream, but they're finding ways through their hustle to stay in this one.
Well, you mentioned the play of Mercedes Russell. She has 7 points in this quarter alone. 9 overall in the game, but she's definitely gone to work here in the third quarter. Odyssey Sims doesn't have anything there. Dishes it out to Tiffany Hayes, and that one doesn't go. But Odyssey Sims, once again, trying to see if she can get things going. A lot of opportunities for the Dream, and they just can't convert.
Elizabeth Williams thought she got fouled there. His hands were reaching on the inside.
Rare miss from Russell, and the block from behind will actually be a foul on Courtney Williams.
Good activity from Mercedes Russell to start this third.
So that foul is Courtney Williams' third. It looked clean from up here, but you mentioned it. The activity on the boards has been the difference in the third.
Yeah, that didn't look like a foul to me. I mean, it looked clean up top. Let's see. I don't want to miss this free throw, but it looked clean to me.
Courtney Williams would agree with you, LaChina, as well. We've seen her jump with the best of them. We obviously talk about her vert all the time. One of the most athletic guards you'll find. Actually led all guards in rebounding last season. So you know that it's there. A costly turnover. Williams trying to find Hayes in the corner. Lloyd from outside hits every part but the one that counts. So Odyssey Sims pushing the pace quite a bit, trying to get something at the rim, and nothing there. Courtney Williams from outside, nothing.
Boy, look at the Dream attack the offensive glass. Again.
Another offensive rebound for the Atlanta Dream. Elizabeth Williams already has 12 rebounds and a bucket at the rim with Courtney Williams. That would have been beautiful. And the crowd was definitely into it. Samuelson moving the ball, and that one doesn't go. So right now, Seattle had a couple of opportunities. We've seen Atlanta with a couple of opportunities underneath as well, but shots aren't falling in the last possessions for Seattle. So Courtney Williams has a matchup with Brianna Stewart. Bounce pass to Monique Billings, who was just a little too far underneath, under the basket.
She got knocked in the head. But good patience by Williams. I thought she may force something there against Brianna Stewart, but she's done a nice job of surveying the landscape and hasn't shot the ball well from the field. I think she recognizes that, so gets it into the paint.
So for Seattle, that's Katie Lou Samuelson. Fourth foul, I believe.
It is. You're right.
So a plethora of substitutions. Sue Bird and Katie Lou Samuelson, and Russell will head to the bench for Seattle. Ari McDonald checks in for the Atlanta Dream, as well as Cheyenne Parker. So right out of the gate, as coach was telling us, when he calls on Ari McDonald, she's always ready. You want to see the energy there, but you have to be ready for Jewel Lloyd, who just doesn't seem like she's cooled down from the first half.
And fouls seem to be mounting here for the Atlanta Dream. Again, that two-man game between Stewart and Lloyd is tough, and it's definitely the body by Tiffany Hayes on that one.
And so we talked about the foul trouble for Katie Lou Samuelson. Well, Tiffany Hayes now has 4 fouls as well, so she'll take a trip to the bench. And Crystal Bradford checks in for Tiffany Hayes. Approaching the 2-minute mark in the third quarter, Crystal Bradford, we know that she can get hot right away. She's looking for an aggressive approach right off the bench. 5 on the shot clock. Ari McDonald over Canada. And that's going to stay with the Dream. Candace Dupree trying to figure out what's going on with the contact underneath.
Well, I'll tell you, Monique Billings goes to the offensive glass so hard. I mean, she is a powerful player, a very energetic player. So if you don't see her getting an offensive rebound, it's because someone got really good position. If not, she got fouled. Or Cheyenne Parker, also physical on the offensive glass. I mean, this is a energetic dream team when the ball comes off the bucket.
I know she's on the other side, but we talked about the UCLA connection as well. And so that's what it comes down to, the turnovers that you want to see, the extra possessions, but it's the chaos that they create that kind of caught Seattle off guard. Atlanta trying to get things going and execute here. They've missed the last 8 shots.
Only scored 11 points so far in this third quarter has the Dream, so the offense has really slowed up.
You know that there's going to be different levels of execution. They came out really hot to start the third quarter, but it's all about different schemes and what you're seeing. But that's a beautiful one right there underneath. You like when you could score on your out of bounds underneath. So 6 points for Cheyenne Parker. 6 rebounds to add to that stat as well. Jordan Canada putting on a few moves and draws the foul. So Sims picks up the foul there. That's her first. Jordan Canada will step up to the free throw line. She has over 100 steals in her career, over 300 assists as well. She's just been learning constantly out of UCLA what it's like to be a pro and what it means to be a pro in this league. Sue Bird was out of season, and you saw how that was very beneficial for Jordan Canada and what she needed to learn and being alongside other vets, and now has 2 championships, 2 titles under her belt.
Yeah, her role has had to change so much over the last 3 years, you know, with Sue Bird sitting out and then Sue Bird coming back. And she is, Noelle Quinn says they're still trying to find her rhythm. She has been on the wing a little bit this season as well, but she's had to make a lot of adjustments.
And Ari McDonald, very aggressive to the paint, draws the foul there. She's just been pretty impressive. We already talked about her 15 points that she had against the Lynx. But it's just her owning the minutes that she's given. We know that's going to take some time, being one of the fastest players, you know, in the NCAA as far as women's basketball. But now how does that transition? How does that go across into the WNBA? And we're seeing how she's a student of the game and what it's like for her to just get that poise.
Yeah, I mean, it takes time. It's quite an adjustment in this league. She said out of her own mouth that players at this level are just faster, bigger, stronger, all of those things. But, you know, you can't teach what Ari has. It's her heart, but it's also just her speed and quickness. And as she starts to understand how to get her shot in a variety of ways, we'll see her be more effective as her career goes on. And Jewel Lloyd, jumper still looking good. I
mean, I would say so. 19 points for her. She's leading the Seattle Storm in points. 4 players in double figures for Seattle. Only 1 player in double figures for the Dream. That's Tiffany Hayes with 20. But either way, Tiana Hawkins, that's a big 3 for her from the outside.
Big 3. If the Dream can get Tiana Hawkins in a rhythm, we know how valuable she is from her years with the Washington Mystics, bringing in championship pedigree to the Dream.
Also pulls down the rebound after a missed attempt.
Jordan Canada denying Ari McDonald. I just love that matchup.
Crystal Bradford going at Talbot, creating some contact, but nothing there. McGregor with the beautiful block underneath. And sometimes you just have to know the personnel and who you're going against, and just the length on the inside. Going against Talbot won, but
yeah, you got to see that help defense. McGregor also has got some length, so she recovers well and closes up that space to get that block.
6'4" out of New Zealand, got first start and double in that start as well against Vegas. As Elizabeth Williams comes back in the game for Cheyenne Parker, Joel Lloyd will take a trip to the sidelines, and Epiphany Prince will come in for her spot. Less than 10 seconds left, though, in this third quarter. This one is kind of breezed by as Ari McDonald pushing the ball up the floor. 5 on the shot clock, seeing what she can get. 4, Odyssey Sims doesn't draw iron there, but it seems like they'll get the ball back. It rolled off of Ezzy McBagor underneath. 0.6 on the game clock. You can do a little bit with 0.6. Close to 5 seconds, and Williams just couldn't really do much with that there on the inbound play, but Atlanta Dream just trying to work their way back into this one. 8-point game for Seattle up. It comes down to the last. Welcome back. Well, the Seattle Storm had an 8-point lead going into the fourth quarter, but we can't start there. We have to go back to the third quarter stats, which are presented by Court Furniture Rentals. Atlanta started the quarter 5 of 10. Well, China, they hit 2 of their last 10. They went on a bit of a drought. What else stands out to you about what the Atlanta Dream need to do in the fourth?
But they got to continue the second effort on the glass. You know, first shots aren't going in. They have got to continue that tenacity in order to get looks, but also patience. You know, it's clear Seattle is using their length and contesting every pass. I mean, they've been really good at getting deflections and taking possessions away, and also doing that, hitting the three.
6 steals for Seattle. They're shooting 50% from the three-point line, 9 for 18 on the night. And that's just been how they've been able to hold on to this lead as well. The balanced attack, yes, but shooting the 3 ball has been pretty impressive for the Storm.
And I believe they only had 1 in that third quarter. So, but here's the offensive effort on the glass. That's what they have to have.
So we saw her coming off of the bench, usually in the starting lineup, but either way, she brings the energy. 5 points for her, 4 rebounds on the night. She got going late. We saw the 3 that she was able to knock down in the third quarter. Hopefully we haven't seen the last of her aggression offensively.
That's a tough shot there, missed by Epiphany Prince. And this second unit for Seattle is one that, you know, they need them to really step up. They've left Breanna Stewart on the floor. They want to try to maybe keep Stewart or Lloyd or Sue Bird on with the second unit, but they have got to be able to play some productive minutes for the Storm.
Odyssey Sims, the C opened up for her all the way to the basket, but couldn't get it to go. But Talbot pretty much rolls all the way to the bucket, fumbled the ball quite a bit, but gets the 2 for the layup.
Yeah, I definitely thought that was a walk.
Well, LaChina, I know that you have been to different officials, camps, and clinics, and if anybody knows calls, it's you, so I'm just going to put my money on you every single time.
Well, I've been to those camps and clinics for college basketball, but I need to go to some for the WNBA, too.
Yeah, I can see it happening.
Post-COVID.
Breanna Stewart all the way out to Talbot for the 3.
Oh,
knocks
boy.
another one down. That's the second one of the quarter. So 8 points for Talbot, 2 threes that she just hit in the fourth quarter. And so for the Dream, they're trying to figure out how they can slow down the Seattle Storm. In celebration of LGBTQ plus pride presented by Deloitte, the WNBA will collaborate with GLSEN and Fanatics on an exclusive line of pride apparel, including Fanatics branded WNBA t-shirts. We'll see that in the building as well. All WNBA proceeds will benefit GLSEN, and fans can purchase the shirts at WNBAstore.nba.com.
Lots of gear available. Go get yours for the summer.
It's about to take all of my coins, LaChina. I'm just trying to build up at all this swag and all these different jerseys. I just feel like it's on the way. That half-court heave by Odyssey Sims grazes the front iron, but as we've heard throughout this game, it's the second chance opportunities by the Dream that lead to a bucket.
And Tiffany Hayes back into the game despite those 4 fouls that you mentioned. And right now, Mike Peterson's going to put his foot on the gas and put Williams and Hayes back in the game. Odyssey Sims has had a really solid second half as well defensively.
I think it's so impressive, too, for Atlanta. 44 of their 65 points have come in the paint. I don't know if I would have guessed that against the length of Seattle, but Breanna Stewart just camping out in the paint. Easy find, easy bucket. the shot clock as Tiffany Hayes just staring down Talbot. She's trying to see what she could get on the offensive end. 5-4 with Epiphany Prince, just keeping Courtney Williams in front of her. And now it's just one of those empty possessions. She tried to get a shot off, but didn't seem like they were quite organized on the offensive end.
Yeah, things have become a little stagnant for the Dream here. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Elizabeth Williams back into the game at some point, needing her activity on the glass. And then she was doing well in some pick and roll situations with Courtney Williams and others. So Dreams just got to look to be a little more sharp on offense.
10 turnovers for Atlanta. Same applies on the other end for Seattle, and Tiana Hawkins. I don't know. I don't have 20/20 vision, but it seemed like she hit the ball out of Stewart's hands. But either way, she gets a trip to the free throw line.
It's hard to tell on that replay if she got the arm for the ball, but it looked like she may have gotten the left arm. The right arm.
Well, if we're talking about Brianna Stewart, she's a champion in every league since tearing her Achilles. Coming back from that, once you're asking, you know, what can she do? How will she look? Well, she's won the WNBA, the 21-Euro League, as well as the Russian League as well. I mean, she's just finding different ways to be a champion, and I love seeing that picture of her as well with the rings on, rivaling Gino Hayes where she was at UConn. So the ball goes out of bounds. Seattle will get it on the sideline. Prince for the three. And it just seems like the energy that we saw to start the half for Atlanta has fizzled out quite a bit. They are looking for that spark to close this game. Yeah. This one is getting a bit out of hand for them, and not a lot of time left on the clock.
They've changed the way they're playing defense, playing a zone, going in, trying to keep Atlanta off balance. I mean, they've just passed the ball well out of Atlanta's pressure, and you know Atlanta's going to bring several defenders to the ball and gamble, and they've been able to do that. Stephanie Talbot.
This is the biggest lead for Seattle at 22 points. Atlanta made 4 of their last 20. And that's where there's drama for the Atlanta Dream, just trying to figure out how they can get back into this game. Well, welcome back to game action. Seattle with a 22-point lead. This whole third quarter has seemed like it's been all Seattle really getting it done from the outside. Atlanta led 51-49 with 7 minutes left in third quarter as Tiffany Hayes knocks down the shot. And then Talbot got going, and since then, Seattle on a 38-16 run.
And a lot of it has had to do with as far as the lead stretching, with Seattle's bench. I mean, Epiphany Prince hits a couple shots, Talbot hits a couple shots, and now they've got 26 bench points.
So Talbot has 11 points. We got 5 points from Epiphany Prince, but the starters as well for Seattle did their part as well. Every player and every starter is in double figures, while for Atlanta, Tiffany Hayes is the only player in double figures with 22. So you're starting to wonder, you know, how can they add some of that punch from the offensive end and just even it out a bit, create more balance on the offensive attack?
Well, I mean, definitely, again, I mentioned Elizabeth Williams, who I thought was doing a really nice job, but Ari McDonald, so quick and looking to get to the rim. I just think it's patience. It's faking a pass to make a pass. I mean, the number of times Seattle has just gotten their hand on the initial look. You know, you got to force them to work defensively and rotate the ball to both sides. And I just think Atlanta got a little bit impatient on some of their offensive possessions.
Still learning how to play with one another, players in and out, as Crystal Raffer comes in for Courtney Williams, and Shakina Strickland will come in for Tiffany Hayes. So this is a group still trying to figure things out and what they look like as far as execution. And on the other side for Seattle, we talked with Coach Peterson before the game, and he was not short in praising how well they move the ball, how well they play off of one another, and just reading the game as well. So that's something that they would want to get to sometime soon within the season. Tiffany Prince all the way to the bucket, doesn't get that to go, but rebounds her own shot. Prince working the baseline against Strickland. 3 on the shot clock, 2. We'll have to heave it from the outside, but I don't think that one's going to go, and that's a good thing for their dream because Talbot has just been on fire in the second half.
Needed her hands on that a little sooner. Strickland actually started her career in Seattle, so she may have some magic here from behind 3 to give the dream some life.
Well, they're going to check it out to see if she got it off in time at the table. And here's the look again.
Yeah, didn't get it off.
This should be a quick one. Quick review. But just as far as Talbot, 0 for 1, 0 points through the third quarter. Now has 8 in the fourth. You mentioned it, just players off of the bench, how she's been able to step up, the reserves and what they've done.
Yeah.
It's just been impressive.
And she's been a starter, you know, with Katie Lou Samuelson out. So now with Samuelson starting and Talbot coming off of the bench, it's like having another starter just coming off the pine.
Those options that we talked about before, so much depth for Seattle. So Talbot picks up her 3rd foul. You mentioned, too, just both teams looking to get back into the win column for Atlanta, coming off 2 tough losses in Minnesota. The first game against the Lynx, they really fought, had a chance to win down the stretch, but Coach said it was just the energy as Tiana Hawkins just knocks that one almost to the 5th row against Jordan Canada.
If we had some floor seats in here, these would have been into floor seats. The volleyball spike.
Those are your seats, LaChina. Like, you are, every time there's a game on, I'm like, okay, LaChina's on the floor somewhere.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, we know.
I like to blend in with the crowd. Me and Maria came and sat right in the middle of the crew. I want to be with the people.
I love it. I love it.
Socially distanced, of course.
Strickland from outside, and I was hoping she'd bring some of that magic that you were talking about. Get things going. I know that she can be automatic from the 3.
She may be a little icy, though, because this is her first time in the game.
Clearing the bench here in the 4th quarter. Less than 3 minutes to go. Stewart. I don't know if there's anything left for us to say just about how smooth her game is, but you can just see how she just shines on every level and what she's been able to do with this team. Like, they're pretty dangerous, and the reason they're the reigning champs. The ball goes out. Tiana Hawkins taking some extra time to get off the floor. Nice sportsmanship by Breanna Stewart, helping her up. It's been a tough quarter for Atlanta. 5 of 25.
And that is the part of their game that's been slower to come by. I mean, Atlanta's been a very solid defensive team this year. They score a lot of points off turnovers, but they didn't get that offense off of turnovers. They only scored 9 off of 11 Seattle turns. So when they're not generating from their defense, their offense is still a work in progress.
You already understand their pace, 3rd fastest pace in the league, averaging 82 possessions per 40 minutes, but it really just comes down to taking care of the ball, but also finding ways to get things done. Beautiful touch pass underneath, but McGregor can't finish. And it's plays like that, LaChina, where we've seen him sporadically throughout the game, where you can see Coach Peterson's head drop just a bit. Like, those plays are so important. Once again, we've mentioned even the film that they're looking at and saying how they can fine-tune some things. This is still a young core for this group, obviously led by Elizabeth Williams and Tiffany Hayes, but they're still learning how to play off of one another and just understand where each person is on the floor as well.
Yeah, I think the number one thing is they can take away from this game. They didn't turn the ball over as much as they did against Minnesota, but they've got to move the ball. You know, again, shifting the defense. When I mentioned them being impatient with their offense, sometimes they ran out of the shot clock, but the ball just kind of sat in one place. You know, they got to continue to move it and get cuts and look to be aggressive to the rim. Those are the things that were working early.
Right, it's been Seattle, too, coughing up the ball, but 3 consecutive possessions by both teams where they've given up the ball. And Kennedy Burke out of UCLA as well. I feel like we've been saying that a lot lately. Kennedy Burke for the 2.
Yeah, UCLA is all in the building.
So another turnover. But at the end of the day, for the Atlanta Dream, it's just understanding what they need to be. I like the approach, even what you said with moving the ball, and that's something that they can improve on, and understanding what that needs to look like. Courtney Williams did that a lot in the first half. We saw how she was getting everyone moving, leading the team in assists at this point, 6 on the night. The next person was Odyssey Sims, but they cooled down, and you have to credit Seattle for finding ways to throw different looks at them to slow them down. So less than a minute in the fourth quarter in the ball game. Monique Billings goes to the rim and draws the foul. Izzy McGregor will pick up her second foul. I don't want to say it again, but we have Monique Billings out of UCLA. Just a product for what UCLA and Corey Close has been able to produce pros on the next level. We've seen it with Jordan Canada as well. Kennedy Burke on the floor as well.
And how about Michaela Anyanwere, who might be the front runner for Rookie of the Year?
Absolutely.
She is in my book.
So impressive.
Though Airy coming on with those 2 double-figure performances the last couple games, she's trying to enter the chat. So
Mary McDonald pushing, seeing if she can get one last look at the rim. We know that she's lightning quick, but that one is called a kickball. That's actually going to stay with Atlanta. But as this one comes to a close, just a tough one for Atlanta tonight, down 24 at this point in the game. And it just got a little ugly for them here in the fourth quarter, mainly from the 3 ball from Seattle, knocking it down 54% from the 3 tonight. 12 triples for them, shooting 54% from the field as well. In Atlanta, as you said, just not enough of the punch from the outside and balance offensively. Only 1 player in double figures. So Noelle Quinn picks up another win as she is the head coach for the Seattle Storm, and Jewel Lloyd still finding ways to coach up the upcoming talent with Jordan Canada, but the player of the game presented by Arby's. Are we surprised that it definitely goes to Jewel Lloyd?
18 points to start this thing off today for the Seattle Storm. 7 for 12, efficient, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. She's the leading scorer for Seattle. Only Tiffany Hayes had more points with 22, but I think she kind of wore Atlanta down a little bit, especially with Courtney Williams guarding her. I thought her wearing Courtney down a little bit defensively took Williams out of the game offensively as the night went on.
Did everything she needed to do. Atlanta led 51-49 in the third quarter. Well, Seattle finished on a 46-20 run, and that gives you the lead. Seattle finishes off, walks away with a 24-point lead.
Rated telecast of WNBA Enterprises may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise used in any form without the express written consent of WNBA Enterprises.
Tonight's presentation of Atlanta Dream basketball is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Well, the Seattle Storm walked away with a 24-point win, and it was all Seattle in that second half. The Atlanta Dream did come out with quite a punch to start the third quarter, but at the end of the day, the Seattle Storm were just too much for them to handle down the stretch.
Yeah, Atlanta's offensive execution faltered down the stretch against a very high-potent Seattle team that shot over 54% from the field, over 54% from 3. And go along with 16 free throws where they were 81% from there as well.
The Dream were outscored 26-10 in that fourth quarter, so they're looking to bounce back. Well, good news, they see them again just on Friday. Back-to-back games for them, so we'll see if they can bounce back. Well, for LaChina Robinson and our entire crew, I'm Angel Gray. Thanks for joining us for Atlanta Dream Basketball, brought to you by Coca-Cola. The next Dream home game is Friday night, June 11th, against the Seattle Storm here at Gateway Center Arena. Our next Dream telecast on Valley Sports South is Sunday, June 13th. Dream take on the Washington Mystics at 3:30 p.m. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.